Joining us now, the one, the only, the famous Dinesh D'Souza, longtime contributor to the John Fredericks Radio Network. He's got books, he's got movies, plus we're going to get his election analysis right now. Dinesh, great to have you back, man.
Hey, thanks very much. Nice to be on the show.
Let's go first to your book, then your movie. When I read your most recent work, it got to be one of the best books I thought you ever did, Trump Card. Let's just talk about that a little bit. What's the reaction to that, Ben?
Well, it's been fantastic. The book is, the movie is based on my book called United States of Socialism. I think that's where the destination that the left wants to take us. They want to move us in a socialist direction. And by this I mean not just economic socialism, but also this kind of imposed conformity across the whole society. That's a very disturbing trend in our country today, the elimination of the suppression of free speech, restriction of other types of civil liberties. So we're kind of in a dangerous moment, a radicalization of the Democratic Party. I even call it a gangsterization, because they do all kinds of stuff now that they would never dream of doing before.
Dinesh, what do you think of this Joe Biden situation with Hunter Biden, this laptop now coming out, and the fact that the fake news refuses to cover it as if they said it's Russian disinformation, which is a complete lie. The FBI now verifying they have the hard drive. The FBI interviewing for hours of Bo Belinsky, but yet no fake news coverage.
They know it's true. That's why they're not covering it. So it's the opposite of what they're saying. The problem isn't that it's fake. The problem is that it exposes Biden as a corrupt and decrepit candidate. And the media wants to protect him. They want to protect Biden. They want to drag him across the finish line. And they're corrupt. In a way, they're showing themselves to be just as dishonest and corrupt as Biden himself.
When you look at this and you look at the fact that the FBI is now verified that the hard drive is real, and the fake news is not covering it. They refuse to ask a question. One guy did at a Biden car event with eight people. The guy got doxxed and mocked on social media by his so-called colleagues. So is the free press in America dead, Dinesh?
I would think we have to say yes, because when we think of a press, and when the founders thought about a free press, they thought of an independent group of people who are, in a way, removed from government, who apply a critical, independent stance and look at the facts, present them to the American people so the American people can adjudicate what's true and false, what's right and wrong, and make decisions. Well, we don't have a press in that sense. So I think we've got to digest this fact, because I think what it means is that if Trump wins the election, he needs to ultimately disband this group. And what I mean is exclude them from the White House press room. They all have credentials, but they're not real journalists. So there's simply no reason to treat them as such.
Well, what has happened with the White House, Dinesh, to be honest, I'm a White House correspondent. I have a hard pass, but I don't have an assigned seat because I represent my radio network and the Virginia Star. But so what they did, the White House Correspondents Association, Dinesh, as you know, is completely a corrupt organization. They kicked me out because I'm Trump chairman of the Virginia campaign again, so they kicked me out. But then what they did is the journalists that the Trump White House allowed in, like me, without assigned seats, give them a hard pass, which is hard to get, as you know. Once COVID, and the White House Correspondents Association hated that, Dinesh. So as soon as COVID came, they said, oh, well, you know, everybody can't come. We can't fill the room. We can only get 25% capacity and only assigned seats. And if you want to go and you don't have an assigned seat, one of the other players has to give it up for you. So basically, all the people like me got kicked out. So now all they do in there is have the fake news. But that's the corrupt system, Dinesh, that we have. Tell me about your movie, the impact you think it's going to have between now and November 3rd.
Well, it's in every American home. This is a movie that is not in the theater. It's available only on DVD or on video on demand. And so TrumpCardTheMovie.com, that's the website. But it's on Apple iTunes, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on a whole bunch of sites, Google, YouTube. And so every American can watch this at home and on any device.
Dinesh, how do you see the next 4 days? What have you heard? How do you feel about the election now, 4 days out?
Well, I feel pretty good about it. I am obviously given a little pause by the polls. I'm not a pollster myself. I don't pretend to be an expert in that sense. But my instinct is that a candidate like Biden is a ridiculous candidate. I'm not even sure how the Democrats ended up with this absurd individual. What kind of sausage machine produced this? But the truth of the matter is they've got a horrible candidate. Trump has a very good record. I think people can now see what Trump is all about. Yes, he's intemperate at times and so on, but basically you've got a guy who loves the country and who's done a lot for it. He's achieved things that other people did not even think were possible. Treaties on the foreign front, trade deals on the domestic front, and so on. So I think there's a fair choice right before the American people. Of course, the press is trying its best to disguise the facts, to conceal the corruption of Biden, but I don't think they'll be successful at doing that. I think at the end of the day, Trump will win decisively.
That's what I think. John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. We're with Dinesh D'Souza, and he's got a new movie out. First, his book was out, Trump Card. Now his new movie, Trump Card, themovie.com. You can get it anywhere, DVD. Just download it, trumpcardthemovie.com. What is life for Dinesh after November 3rd?
Well, it kind of goes on as usual. My life is basically one of writing books, and I've been giving speeches, although fewer in the age of COVID.
Right.
I'm thinking of starting a podcast. I've had this year 2 movies out, the Trump Card movie, a political documentary, and also a political thriller called Infidel, a feature film that's still in theaters, but will be in video on demand for Christmas, coming out December 1. So it's been a really busy year. I've been trying to break the monopoly of Hollywood and essentially create a virtual studio to make good movies, not just documentaries, but all types of movies. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see what the new year brings.
All right, Dinesh D'Souza predicting a big Trump victory like I am. I was thinking about this when we invited you to come on. You probably don't remember this. You were on with me exactly 4 years ago, Dinesh, to the day. I was in Trump Tower. I was the only radio show invited because I was chairman of Virginia, so they let me in. I was there for 5 days on the air. Exactly this day, 4 years ago, you came on, and we were very lonely voices back then, and both of us predicted a Trump victory. And as my wife said, God put him in, only God can take him out. So I think you and I, once again, our predictions are going to be spot on. I think the key to this, Dinesh, the way we see it, is going to be Florida. If he wins Florida big, and I think right now you look at all the numbers, Dinesh, all the numbers that we're seeing, early voting, we're exceeding all expectations there. The Democrats are underperforming. If they can call Florida by 10 p.m., you're going to see the dominoes, Dinesh, start to fall. That's going to be the key.
Very interesting. Yeah, my reading is based more on just a sense of, look, at Trump's record. People vote based on 3 things. I mean, they vote based upon prosperity. Trump has delivered it. He can deliver it again. Look at the job numbers just from yesterday. The other is safety. Obviously, the Democrats have become the party of lawlessness and chaos. And the third is, I think Trump has shown a kind of can-do spirit. I mean, he's also a very entertaining guy. I mean, who do you want to be listening to over the next 4 years, Trump or this guy in the rocking chair, Biden?
Dinesh D'Souza. The scene I saw the other day of Biden, I guess he went to vote early in Wilmington, and walking down the stairs, and he had to clutch his wife Jill's arm, the way my aged mother would do when she was going downstairs at 92 years old. I mean, he literally had to clutch her arm. And then she made a speech somewhere. She was speaking before him. And rather than just standing there and, looking at her the way you do when somebody's introducing you, he's pacing behind her back and forth. Like, I mean, who does that? And people do that in old folks' homes and lunatic asylums. Exactly. I mean, you hate to say that, Dinesh. You don't want to be this way because you feel sorry for the guy. We would visit my mom in her rehab at 90 years old. That's what she would do. She would get up and start to pace. And it was like, what is up with this guy? It's sad. It's sad what the Democrats have done to him. It's sad now what's going on with his family. Final thing, Dinesh, what do you think about the fact that the FBI and Christopher Wray sat on this hard drive for a year? And had it not leaked to the New York Post, they would have sat on it through the election. What do you make of that?
Well, it really shows you that Trump has not controlled his own Justice Department for a good bit of his first term. I'm not even sure these days about Attorney General Barr. I think that this is the unfinished agenda of the second term, not just to clean out the FBI, but ultimately to hold these kind of deep state characters accountable for not just what they did to Carter Page and Papadopoulos and General Flynn, but really the plot to remove the president.
Unbelievable. I want to thank Dinesh D'Souza for being with us. Dinesh, 1 year ago, October 30th, 2016, you predicted with me a Trump victory. You're predicting it again. Dinesh, you're going to be right again. TrumpCardTheMovie.com. Dinesh, let's have you back. Let's not do the every 12-month thing, all right? Thanks for
All right, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Dinesh,
Bye-bye.
thanks for being with us. John Fredericks Radio Network.